Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, beauties. Well, ladies and gents, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeannie Nicole, and I have Jenny Amaya here with me today. So, I don't know if you guys know or not, maybe not, but I have been homeschooling this beautiful young lady for about 3 years now. So we're going into our 3rd year. She will be 9th grade. And since the pandemic has happened and everyone is in a frenzy because no one knows what's going on, teachers, working parents, single parents, everyone, I've gotten a little bit of a combination of people asking different questions about homeschooling and how it works, since virtual school is apparently a huge option for parents now so that they can keep their children safe. So we just wanted to make a video to let you guys know, number one, how we got started, why and how we decided on homeschool, and then I will go into detail as far as actually getting started, like what those steps look like for us. And she will give some input from the child's perspective as well. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to jump right into why and how we got started with homeschooling. I am actually a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a hairstylist, and I've always pretty much worked. I've never been a stay-at-home mom. So I'll be honest, when she started asking me about homeschooling, I was like, those are for stay-at-home mamas, and them kids probably weird now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it wasn't like
so. That's what I thought. I thought you were gonna be weird.
Honestly, I tell everyone this when I wanted to be homeschooled. It was a joke. Like, I literally saw a YouTube video of these kids. Idea. They were gonna be homeschooled, and they were getting PJs and stuff for their first day of school. And I was just like, I want to be homeschooled. I want to get that experience. I asked her, and obviously she said no. So
yeah, for like a year, yeah. I said no. When did you first ask me? Was this like 5th grade or 6th?
I think it would have been 5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade. So she asked me for all of 6th grade. And initially I was like, are you getting bullied? Like, what's the issue? Because your mama will handle it, honey. I don't play that, play by my child.
No, I wasn't getting bullied. I just felt like it was a joke, seriously, at first. But then she said yes at the end of 6th grade. And I was just like, no, because it came out of nowhere. She just like,
no, it didn't come out of nowhere. Let me tell you where it came from. So the church that we go to in Tennessee, I'm not going to say where, in Tennessee, a lot of families homeschool. So some of my clients homeschooled, and I didn't even know it. So I actually ended up speaking with one of them, and she was homeschooling, at the time, 6 of her 8 children. And Genesis was coming up on her 7th year of school. So I was like, okay, am I going to do this? Like, maybe I should research it at least, because she keeps asking. So this has really, been placed on her heart. I didn't know it was a joke. Okay. Because she kept asking.
Well, that's the thing. You literally came to me one day in 6th grade and said, hey, I think I'll consider the homeschool. And you told me this like right after school, and I was thinking, whoa, I wasn't even serious.
Okay. So anyway, look, one of her little best friends at the time, she was homeschooled. And her mom, she just kind of put a bug out there. She said something that made me think. And that was, well, Jeannie, when you homeschool her, you're literally facilitating. So that took the pressure off of me to be this perfect teacher, to be this elite educator, and, all of this. I don't have a degree in education. You know what I mean? Like, I instruct, but it is not in a traditional school setting. It's more, like hair and creative related. So along with her making that statement, when she said that, it made me think, and I'm like, well, she is actually pretty mature. She does what I tell her to do. She's pretty obedient. So I think she could probably handle the load, the workload at home, and do what she's supposed to do to get, the job done. So I was listening to Bot Radio Network. It's a Christian talk radio station. And I heard this pastor, this preacher on there, and he was like, he was teaching on, I don't even remember what the sermon was on, but that man said, and this all happened in the course of probably 1 week. That man said that the public school system was set up as a means of seducing our children from the things of God. And I instantly was like gut wrenched. Like, I could not unhear that. It bothered me to hear that, to know that I'm now in a better place. I'm not a single mom anymore. I've been married for almost 6 years, and I can work my schedule around, homeschooling her. So then we instantly began to look into the benefits of homeschooling and took it from there. So a few things we noticed was how much her public school schedule dictated in our lives. It dictated where we live. It dictated how much we had to pay, because you want them in a good school zone, right? So you're going to pay them high prices to get them in that good school zone, regardless of what you make,
That's pretty stressful.
We could not vacation whenever we wanted to. My husband worked out of town a lot, and we could not accompany him because she was in school. She can't miss too many days, right? Or they'll be expelled. So we started thinking about these things, and really, honestly, we saw how stressful it was to keep her continuously in a public school setting. So I started researching from there. So we'll get into that next. All right. So next, we're going to talk about how you get started with homeschooling, if that is something you're interested in. So what you need to do first is choose an umbrella. Your umbrella is basically serving as the board of education for your homeschool child. So they are going to do your record keeping. You report your grades and attendance to your homeschool umbrella. Ours, we chose Home Life Academy. They are based in Jackson, Tennessee, and they keep up with all of our records. They are Christian based, so I get her curriculum and everything from them, and she has like Bible class and things like that. So that's why we chose that umbrella. You may want to go secular. There are secular umbrella schools and stuff out there too. So yeah, you need to choose an umbrella, choose your board of education. Who are you going to report your children's grades and attendance to? Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing, what did you have something?
I think I like the umbrella that we are under, because not only does it have a Bible class, but in every subject it somehow kind of adds God and the creation within every subject, including like science and history. So it just kind of, instead of just talking about like the functions of the body or something in science, they actually add like how God created each function of the body to work a certain way.
That is true, from the student herself. And that is something else that my husband and I noticed as we would help her navigate through her assignments in her subjects, is that yes, for the first time ever, because it was not taught to my husband and I, we saw science and the teachings of God actually complement one another instead of going against each other. So we really like that about her curriculum, like she said. So once you choose your umbrella school, you're gonna, through that umbrella, you're gonna withdraw your children from the public school system. For us, all we had to do was fill out a form, take it to her school, and actually the umbrella Home Life Academy, they had faxed over a form as well, just to make sure that it was done properly. So that was as easy as 1, 2, 3. And then from there, we had to decide on a curriculum. Now that part right there, that can be a bit much. It can be a bit much if you look at too much at a time. I'm a big researcher, so I like to look at everything. I mean, that could take forever. So what I did was I wanted to keep it really basic. You can be as creative as you want to, or as traditional as you want to when homeschooling. It depends on your children, how they learn, and what's best for you and your family. For us, I felt like we needed structure and a little bit of creativity, because she is a creative child. Yeah. So I didn't want to go in there picking different parts of different curriculums to make her a whole curriculum. I knew she needed 5 subjects, was it math, history, Bible, science, English. I think you were doing some kind of writing. Language arts. Okay. So yeah, the basic classes. It ended up being about 5 or 6 of them. Okay. Yeah. First 2 years.
I think when it comes to homeschooling like a teenager, coming from my perspective, even with the creativity, like it's not even that you have to have just like a whole classroom or anything set up and just constant art projects and everything to keep them busy. It's literally just like set them up in one area, a desk,
Yeah.
You know, make sure they have all their, if you're doing books, you can do books. I don't advise books.
Yeah, we'll tell you why.
Or if you're just doing online, just make sure that they have something to take notes with and a computer, a good computer.
One that, you know, has the adequate amount of memory.
I mean, realistically, when it comes to homeschooling a teenager, I don't think that you really have to do that much. Obviously, when you're homeschooling little kids, it's going to be
probably
harder.
More involved with little ones, yeah.
Yeah, so,
yeah, and on the curriculum she was talking about online, we decided to stick to, well, so first, let me back up. I decided on Alpha and Omega for her curriculum. So we do Life Pack through Alpha and Omega publications. So through Life Pack, you have Monarch and you have Life Pack, and there's another one too. But one of them is a set of workbooks. Beware of the workbooks if you are working parents, okay? We did that her second year, and I'm not doing it again. The first year, we did the digital learning system.
You got done early, actually,
yes,
the first year.
It was so good. I picked a traditional calendar. So she really ended up going to school year round, because the first year we started the summer prior to everyone else going back to school. We wanted to kind of test drive it, see, you know, if this was something we could really commit to and something she could handle. So we went with the digital system, and it just comes with a USB drive. You download the information onto your computer, then the system itself, it'll install an app for the teacher, which is the parent, and then an app for the student. And you both can log in every day. I used to log in every day and keep up with her grade at work. The one thing that I really loved about the digital learning system, Life Pack, was that it did 90% of the grading for me. I knew going in, I ain't have time to sit around grading a whole bunch of papers every day. Okay? Yeah. I couldn't do it. That's not my ministry. You know, so it had to be an understanding on both ends. Hey, sweetheart, we can homeschool you if we do the digital program. And she was okay with it. And she did get a little frustrated day one, and that's fine. You know, had to do a little bit of what they call in the homeschooling community of unlearning, because I found out that she had severe testing anxiety. She would tear up little pieces of paper and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That
doesn't need to be known.
Okay. I'm not going to embarrass my child. Okay. But seriously, it gave me a bigger glimpse into her learning style and what she needed to be successful, you know, going forward. Because for her, I felt like math came very easily, in science, but I just always felt like she was lacking a little bit in her reading and her comprehension. She's very intelligent. Her vocabulary has always been extensive. However, it was not reflecting in her grades. So one of my clients actually told me that she was probably flying under the radar in public schools, to be quite frank. So she was not a problematic child, and teachers were not spending a lot of time with her because they didn't have to discipline her. However, she really did need the one-on-one time as far as like her reading and language arts. So before homeschool, I would have to correct Genesis on her spelling quite a bit. I would say every few words at a time. I thought it was a bit much for her to have been in 6th grade. But when we went to homeschooling,
in 6th grade.
It was borderline.
I think now what's important is that now I'm on my reading.
She is. She can read and write fluently. I don't have to go behind her. Hey, you missed a period. Hey, you should have capitalized that. Hey, no, she is up to par on her reading and comprehension. Now she's reading on her own, like for fun. That never happened. Ew.
I just got not to brag or anything, but I just got a book, and like I'm already more than halfway through it. Like,
now she loves Barnes and Noble. You know,
it's amazing.
We weren't doing it before.
But honestly, I think when it comes to doing the books and online, I just found it easier because not only is it easier for the parents to grade, but it's easier for your kids to kind of see where they are, if they're behind or not. Because with the books, you could literally never tell if you're behind or not. Like, even it took me a while to even see where the lessons started and where they ended, because I realized I was doing like 3 lessons a day when I didn't really need to. And if your kid does want to go ahead, they can, but it's much easier to go ahead on the laptop than it is in books, because in books, it's basically, they're the same thing. You're learning the same thing on the laptop and in books, but on the laptop, they don't show that much that you're doing that much because it can be too overwhelming for a kid. But once you see that you have like 10 books for each subject, that can be really overwhelming.
Yeah, and overwhelming for the parent too. They gotta grade it. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, once you pick the curriculum out, then you want to just go ahead and decide on a schedule, a calendar. And once again, we chose digital, so I was able to input that information as soon as I downloaded everything from the USB. It literally walks me through everything. So I was able to pick a traditional calendar. I knew how many days she needed to be in school for the year. I could move the days around if I wanted to. If we wanted to go out of town for a week, then I could adjust her schedule however I wanted to, as long as she had the correct amount of days plugged in and attendance plugged in that she needed to by the end of the year. So yeah, that was that on that. So we can move on to, I guess, high school. Okay, so this is her first year of high school. I will say things were a little bit different this year because her electives actually count. Who knew? I'm just saying. So, okay, look, this is what we do to make sure that we're in compliance with the state of Tennessee. I just go to Tennessee.gov and look up, the state requirements for her graduating as a high school student and a future college student. We went the university path. You can go the technical path or university path. So that is still a thing if you graduated way back in the day like I did. So yes, she's on the university path, and I selected her classes according to what she would need to be able to graduate and fulfill all of her high school credits in preparation for college. Okay. She was also able to pretty much dabble in driver's ed since she's been home. So my husband has been working with her on schooling. She's able to take a finance class, which is, I think it sounds pretty awesome. And you could do Dave Ramsey's too. We chose another one that came with her actual, curriculum. But another big thing I wanted to touch on, because a lot of parents do work. So there's these two things called tutorials and co-ops. Boom, take advantage of them. Let me tell you what they are. So a co-op is basically a small group study that is run by a group of parents, and it can involve some trained and expert teachers as well, certified teachers as well. So it's a mixture and a blend of both. But the main thing with a co-op is that the parents do have to agree to teach a course or two or a few or whatever to a particular group of students. So for instance, if I wanted her to join a co-op, then I could sign up, but I would have to agree to teach one of her school subjects. So I may have to agree to teach English or math or But like I said, that's not my ministry.
No,
okay,
Mom, you're not that great at teaching.
No. So we did not do a co-op, but they are available. We do, however, do a tutorial. Tutorials is where you can just, I know that was weird. Tutorial. Anyway. So yes, we do a tutorial every week. She pretty much goes for enrichment, which is socialization. So she has her friends. She pretty much is done with her work throughout the week. She's doing her work so that by Friday, tutorial day, she's caught up. She can go and kick it. You know what I'm saying? And she can do extra credit work if she chooses to.
I think the fun thing about my tutorials, like she said, I pretty much do all of my work throughout the day because I go on Fridays, which is basically like the weekend. So you can just knock out your work and everything. But when I go there, I get to learn with the rest of the students because everyone has their individual kind of programs. Mm-hmm. But then when we come on Fridays or Thursdays, whichever day you choose to come, then you'll be able to kind of learn with everyone and you'll learn everything, or you can be ahead of your class. I think the fun thing is that if you're like 6th grade and up, you pretty much learn the same thing as the high schoolers, so you're kind of ahead of your game, basically.
And a lot of people fear that, what if my child gets behind? There are several ways to still allow your child to test according to the state standards to see where they fall with other children. especially when it comes to college. So she will be able to take the ACT actually early. So they have ACT prep classes in her tutorial, and they have different clubs that are offered, Spanish club, piano. I mean, they have different things that they can do. Also, if your child is homeschooled and you sign a waiver for pretty much any school that's local, then they can play sports at that school. So that's another big thing, and that's another way that they can still maintain friendships. So they don't have to be completely isolated because they're homeschooled. And that was a huge misconception that even I myself had. So if you're a working parent, again, let's say you work a 9 to 5, well, you have the option to send your child to a tutorial for however many days you need. Usually most of them are open about 5 days a week. So it may be more of a 9 to 3 p.m. type of situation, but you can also arrange after school care or build your community within those other moms and parents and say, hey, I don't get off of work until this time. Could my child ride home with you and I pick them up from there? They usually, homeschool parents, they are more than willing to help. Most are stay-at-home moms, so they don't mind taking on an extra child for their child to play with so they can fix lunch and do whatever else they need to do. I promise it works out. Also, to get better connected, you can look at different homeschooling groups on Facebook. So join a Facebook homeschool group. That's where a lot of information is shared, like tons. So churches, wherever you go to church, especially in Middle Tennessee, oh goodness, homeschoolers are all in churches here. So, I mean, if you work, you can still get it done. You just have to go the extra mile to build that village to help you while you're at work. But I promise it can be done. So,
but you just have to, I'd say definitely keep your kids social, because if they're not social, then it can mess things up a lot. Yeah. And obviously, I'm not gonna lie, they may not have the same friends as they did when they were in public school, especially if they're getting into high school and things. They're probably not gonna have the same friends, but for me personally, that turned out to be a good thing, because I found real friends and not friends that were surrounded by drama.
And I could tell because her confidence went up like quite a bit within that first year of homeschooling, and we didn't even know. We were like, oh, something's different about her. And I would just listen to her talk about her friends that she had and the different pressures that came with her being in public school. Yeah. So,
and I think that's because public school, it's one of those, like, it's built on, in a way, it can be built on looks, it can be built on popularity and things. I'm not saying, I'd say I was in between with me and my friends, but at the same time,
she was popular. She wasn't with the Mean Girl Club or nothing.
No, well, it wasn't all girls. It was girls. Yeah. Our group was girls and boys. And yes, I guess you could say not everyone was in our group at all. We would choose certain people to be in our group. But still, I just felt like that group, it was stressful because it was every day there was something going on, because we were, I guess, as mom likes to say, the popular kids. It was always drama going on. Like, I think that's kind of the cost of being in public school and being, I guess, popular, is that you're always going to be in drama. And it's honestly mentally exhausting, especially as a teenager, because you shouldn't really have to go through all that drama on top of having homework every night and having to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to go to school at like 7 just to get ready and have time. That's just too much.
And kids really aren't getting enough rest. We heard a youth pastor talk about that too at one of our churches. And
I did competitive cheerleading in 6th grade too, so it was literally, my schedule was packed. I wake up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, get ready, and be at school by like 7:15, get started at school, and then right after school I would go to cheer practice, wouldn't get done till like 7 o'clock at night. Then we would get home, and we have to consider traffic and everything, so we wouldn't get home till like 8 o'clock-ish, and then
still gotta eat,
I would have dinner and do homework, and then go to sleep at like, I would try to go to sleep at like 10 o'clock, so then I had to cram in. I would have to do homework as I'm eating dinner sometimes, or just do that, and then I got to hurry up and go to bed.
Because we probably finna go out to eat. I'm tired too.
Yeah, we did. We went out to eat a lot, and so I would just have to hurry up and get take a shower and stuff, so then I can have time in the mornings, and then I just have to repeat that schedule.
Oh,
so
goodness.
It's really
Your
hard.
voice starts shaking just talking about all this drama. Woo! Lord.
Well, I feel like I've always been in some kind of sport.
Yeah.
Because even then, I did basketball, believe it or not.
Goodness.
I know.
Go.
A 5'2" girl did play basketball. At the time, I was probably like
I was like, you
4'9"
only 5'2"
I was probably like 4'9" at the time. But I played basketball, and even that was hard. Like, literally, when I tell you, as soon as school was over, I would have to run to the gym just to get ready with the rest of the girls for basketball practice. And then if we had games, we would literally stay at school for like the entire day, and we wouldn't leave till like 8 o'clock at night. So it was crazy.
Oh, and I forgot, cost wise, when you're sending them to a tutorial or a co-op, there probably will be a fee, a registration fee, and a fee associated with the books and materials. So yeah, it's still gonna be cheaper than private school, I can tell you that. Her curriculums for the year usually average about $500 to $600. Especially if you get that 20% off discount in the summertime from April to August. Yeah. So, and a registration fee, I think, is about $50 to $65, depending on the size of your family per child. And if you have more than one child, you get a sibling discount. So, y'all, there are so many ways to work this thing. If you have any question, you got something to say?
I think homeschool is actually really good for athletes, believe it or not, because especially as a high schooler, when you're in high school and perhaps middle school, when you're in a sport, it gets more serious because you may be doing that in college. So I think it's better for athletes because you have the time between getting done with school and going to practice. I did soccer, and I remember, or it also depends on when your practice is. Most of the time it's later throughout the day.
In the evening.
And so I would get done with school around like 12-ish.
Every day, y'all. 8:30
like
to 12.
Middle school and high school. You're going to get done at like 12-ish for middle school and high school. Younger kids, I can't say the same because they may need extra time, mental breaks, several in between. So they probably will get done later. But when you're in middle school and high school, you'll get done around 12, which means you'll have time to have lunch, chill and stuff before you go to practice. Because I had practice at like 6, and I had time to get ready and everything. And then I was able to go to practice. Both of my parents, either one was able to take me, but both of them weren't as stressed as they would have been with public school, because public school, I would need to ask someone, or they would need to ask.
And I don't like sending my child with nobody else.
To go.
I mean, not like
with them.
I feel more comfortable sending her with the parents at her homeschool tutorial than I did with public school parents.
Well, but that's because one of my best friends, her mom, brought me home and stuff, and
that's right.
I've gone over their house and stuff. So
it's just smaller community. I like it.
Yes,
it's nice. So that's all we have for today. If you guys have any questions, Jenny Amaya, she actually has a YouTube video that I will link below on her own YouTube channel that she created since she has been homeschooled, because she's so creative. So all of her talents are coming forth. But I will link that below. She's talking about her typical schedule for homeschooling and encouraging other children that are virtually schooled at this time on how to kind of stay on top of the game. So if y'all have any questions or concerns, you can look me up. Jeannie Nicole here on Instagram, Jeannie Kopic on Facebook, and Jeannie Amaya is also on Instagram. So
yeah, I definitely say my video is like for teenagers
that
are moving on. Like, parents can watch it too, obviously, just to kind of get an idea. Of what their teenagers will probably go through or need to be serious about when it comes to online school. Because online school, as you guys like to say, be realistic. If your child is in public school, your child is not homeschooled. But
you are at the home.
But I just think that video kind of just tells you what you need to expect, or tips to kind of help your child mentally really to go through this, because it's gonna be hard to transition from being super social and just realistically going to public school to see your friends to being at home all the time. And so it's not that bad, but I just think you need to take it very seriously and be focused and just focus on the big picture, which is getting done with class.
Get done with school. Yes.
So yes.
So that's all we have. Yes. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and like and subscribe. Also hit that bell notification so that you'll know if we decide to upload more videos. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.